All right. Happy Friday, everybody. This is Mrs. Lewis, and I hope that you're having a good day. And I made my first screencast to try this out and see how it goes. So you're going to watch this, and then you'll get in your groups and make some posters. So let's review quickly for first period and kind of take learning for the first time for third period about what phrases are. So a definition of a phrase is a group of words that does not form a complete sentence on their own. So remember that a complete sentence needs two things. Do you know what they are? A subject and a verb or predicate, right? So you have to have the person and what they're doing, or the object and what it is doing. So a phrase is a group of words, but it doesn't make a complete sentence. It doesn't have that subject and verb. So let's take a look. Some examples. From the beach is a phrase because we don't have a subject. We don't know who or what is happening or going from the beach, and we don't have a verb. We don't know what's going on there. So it's a phrase. Waving happily. We don't have a subject. We don't know who is waving happily, and we don't have any more details about it. So that's a phrase. To learn to swim better. This one's tricky. Some people say, oh, well, the verb is to swim and someone is learning, but we don't know who is learning and we don't know what they are doing to try to learn to swim better. So we don't have a subject or a verb, so that one's also a phrase. At the sound of the bell. We don't know who does what at the sound of the bell. The kids could be cheering, the teachers could be running and screaming out of the classroom. We don't know what's going on, okay? So our goal for today is to review 4 different types of phrases. So each one of your groups will be making a poster for the different type of phrase. Prepositional, participial, appositive, and infinitive. Some nice big fancy words to impress people. Okay, so your activity after you watch this short video, you're going to do some online research and reading to get more info about your phrase that you're assigned and then make a poster about it. So your poster needs to include these 3 things listed here: a definition of the type of phrase that you have, and at least 3 examples or sentences with the phrase underlined in it, and then a picture or a cartoon that has to do with the phrase that you have. So I have some examples of cartoons in here, and you can Google search those as well to try to make your poster more fun and entertaining. So first, let's take a look at prepositional phrases, and here's an example of a cartoon that you could use for prepositional phrases. So there's a little guy up there, and he's saying, we the people, of the people, for the people, by the people, above the people, under the people, beside the people, behind the people. Do you get the joke? Yes? No? So it's supposed to be like, we the people, in order to form a more perfect union, right? The part from the Constitution, the preamble. But this person is just repetitively using prepositional phrases over and over and over again. So he's delivering the preposition proclamation like it says at the bottom. Get it? All right. Knee slapper there. Okay, come on, laugh. Just laugh a little. All right, thanks. So, a prepositional phrase is a group of words that adds more detail by telling you where or when something happened. Okay, so the prepositional phrase starts with a preposition. So, for example, during the rodeo, the bull became belligerent, meaning kind of mean and angry. Okay, so during the rodeo is the preposition. It's telling you when and where the bull became belligerent. Okay, Lauren was extremely angry. When was Lauren extremely angry? After getting a parking ticket. So your prepositional phrase is after getting a parking ticket. It's telling you when Lauren was extremely angry. Okay, so here is our bull becoming belligerent. Would not want to be in the ring with that thing. Do they call them rings? I don't know. And here is Lauren being very frustrated that she got a parking ticket that she did not feel she deserved. Okay, then we have participial phrases. So this adds detail to describe a noun. So, competing in the race, the athlete felt a surge of adrenaline. Competing in the race describes what the athlete is doing. Okay, the athlete's not resting or practicing, the athlete is competing in the race. So this is a participial phrase. Bothered by her husband snoring, the woman kicked the poor man. Ask your parents if they ever kick each other for snoring. Okay, so bothered by her husband snoring describes the woman and gives you the reason why she kicked her poor husband. Having typed the paper, the student was finally able to relax. Having typed the paper describes what? Does it describe the student, finally, or relaxing? What do you think? If you said the student, you are correct. So this describes and adds detail to the student. The police officer, having been threatened by the suspect, called for assistance. So having been threatened by the suspect, does that describe the police officer or assistance? If you said police officer, you are correct. Okay, then we have appositive phrases. And appositive is a group of words that adds extra detail to a noun. So again, it's very similar to the participial. So appositives can be taken out of the sentence and it still makes sense. My uncle, a mediocre chef, is no Julia Child since he often drops his cigar ashes into the food he's preparing. Yuck, that's disgusting. Okay, so here, a mediocre chef adds detail to uncle, right? It's describing the uncle as a chef that's not so great. My favorite pastime, cow tipping, often results in dirty shoes. So again, cow tipping adds detail to describe what pastime is. Okay, if you grew up in an area with lots of cows, this is something that teenagers would go out and do. They would think it was fun to try to push over a cow. It's much harder to do than you think, and it could be very dangerous because cows are very heavy. Don't try this at home, kids. Okay, and finally, infinitive phrases. Infinitives are phrases that start with the word to. So, to drive, to run. To and a verb makes an infinitive phrase. I like to scuba dive in the bathtub. His effort to convince me to buy swampland in Louisiana was a failure. He was too silly to be easily understood. So notice that all of these start with to and a verb. To scuba dive, to convince, to be. Okay, so to and a verb is an infinitive phrase. So now you're going to try. See if you can identify the phrase in each of the following sentences. Drinking cold lemonade refreshed me. What do you think the phrase is there? If you said drinking cold lemonade, you are correct. Good job. The computer needs to be repaired. What is the phrase here? To be repaired is correct because that is an infinitive phrase. You will find the assignment on the board. Can you find the prepositional phrase? If you found on the board, you are correct, answering where you can find the assignment. And having blocked a punt, the Rams recovered the ball. Where is the phrase there? It is right at the beginning, which is our goal to be trying to start our sentences more creatively with more variety, right? So here we have a phrase at the beginning. Excellent.